All right, today we're going to recap Saturday's three major Kentucky Derby prep races: the San Felipe at Santa Anita, the Gotham at Aqueduct, and the Tampa Bay Derby at Tampa Bay Downs. We start with the San Felipe. It was the 3-year-old debut of Bolt'd Oro. Faces Bob Baffert-trained McKinzie. These were, I think, quite clearly the two top Kentucky Derby prospects in the country, coming into this race. And boy, this race lived up to the billing with Bolt'd Oro, you see, making his 3-year-old debut, winning it in controversial fashion with a disqualification. McKinzie crossed the wire first, but was placed second. And the Jerry Hollendorfer-trained Kenthonka, who was a 3 1/4 length winner of the Grade 2 San Vicente Stakes last time. He was a very non-threatening third in his two-turn debut. But we're going to go to the tape. We're going to watch Bolt'd Oro's comeback. All right, the horse breaking from the rail here is Bolt'd Oro. He's got the green silks, the green and gold blinkers, inside post position. The 4 horses McKinzie with the blue shadow roll that so many Baffert-trained horses have. He's wearing the Mike Pegram silks. Pegram owned a bunch of McDonald's franchises. He's kind of got the golden, he's got the McDonald's colors there. And the 2 horses, Lumbo, who stole the Bob Lewis on the front end, wire to wire last time out. The connections of Lumbo came out before this race and said they were going straight to the front, which kind of tipped it off for handicappers that there was going to be a very honest pace in this race at the least, and probably a hot pace if the 2 favorites decide they want to be up close to it. So with all that said, let's go watch the San Felipe Stakes from Saturday.
Ready for the San Felipe. Racing. McKinzie is away beautifully with Lumbo, Bolt'd Oro, and Kentucky down the outside. Aquila livened up in the early going by Pedrosa, moving up within a length of the lead out 3 wide. He moves past Kentucky, Ayakara, and Peace the last couple. On the swing out of the stretch, and Lumbo leads McKinzie and Aquila. Bolt'd Oro tucking in 4th, 2.5 lengths to Kentucky. A similar margin, Ayakara with 6 furlongs to go. And at the tail of the field is Peace. He's now 5 lengths behind the second last horse. Lumbo, the Lewis winner, leads from McKinzie and Aquila. Bolt'd Oro smothered away 4th. A half-dozen lengths to the San Vicente winner, Kentucky, followed along the back stretch by Ayakara, and 4 lengths to Peace. They're a half-mile from home. Lumbo by a neck to McKinzie, and a similar margin, Aquila, 3 out from Bolt'd Oro, 5 lengths to Kentucky. He's followed by Ayakara, Peace bringing up the rear. It's Lumbo by a neck. McKinzie travels smoothly, and he gets on terms with Lumbo passing the 3/8 pole. Bolt'd Oro travelling into a pocket on the inside of Aquila. 2.5 lengths to Kentucky, and they're clear of Peace, who overtakes Ayakara. McKinzie is the new leader. Castellano hooks Bolt'd Oro into the clear, and he's ranging forward with great purpose at the top of the stretch. And Bolt'd Oro moves up alongside of McKinzie, and they're racing tightly. They were brushing in upper stretch. McKinzie fights back underneath Bolt'd Oro. The San Felipe living up to its billing. A 16th left to go. McKinzie on the inside, and Bolt'd Oro in a spine-tingling spectacle at the Great Race Place. Bolt'd Oro, McKinzie, they hit the line. McKinzie beats Bolt'd Oro in a photo, 6 clear of Kentucky, Peace, and then Ayakara 5th.
Okay, I'm going to go over some things that happened during the course of this race from a trip handicapping point of view. We're going to start with the break. You're going to see, we mentioned the 2 Lumbo. This is Rafael Bejarano. He's a speed horse, stole a Bob Lewis wire to wire. You see Bejarano is going to send him. Also watch Martin Pedrosa here. He's on the 5 horse, a long shot in the race. This horse went wire to wire last time and winning a maiden race. Watch how hard Pedrosa sends the 5 horse, so I'm going to run it here. I got it in slow motion. You see Bejarano's pushing and shoving, getting Lumbo to the lead like they said they would, but watch Pedrosa on the 5. He's already hit the horse 3 times right. He gave the 5 horse 3 cracks of the whip right-handed. still going to the whip. He had to hit him about 5 or 6 times right-handed, to get him in contention there. So you've got a very speedy horse. Lumbo was hard set from the get-go. You got Pedrosa rushing up in there. And McKinzie kind of was more forward in this race than I thought he might be. I mean, he's a horse that, can come from off the pace. I mean, he has no problem settling in mid-pack, but Smith wanted him into the race. And there he is. He's kind of in between 2 speed horses that were both pretty hard set, which shows you McKinzie's got a lot of natural early speed. And Bolt'd Oro got away cleanly, too. I mean, he's a horse that, has had some gait issues in the past, but he broke good, and he's in a very good spot here under Javier Castellano. You see McKinzie kind of sandwiched in these speed horses, but he's going well. And Castellano's got Bolt'd Oro in a spot, that I'm sure he's quite pleased with. It's a big break back to, you probably got a chasm of about 5 or 6 lengths back to the 5th place horse. So the field's very strung out here. We're gonna move this forward to the part of the race that caused some controversy now. Okay, it's at about this point where Castellano and Bolt'd Oro decides he's going to send through. He's in a nice little pocket there, and you're going to see him get ready to push the button right here. And he's going to come out to confront McKinzie. You can see he's asking Bolt'd Oro, for a run here. Smith right now he's looking pretty good, sitting confident on McKinzie. Here comes a big aggressive move by Javier Castellano. Now, this is where the first incident's going to happen. Let me slow this down. Okay, we've got it going even slower here. You're going to see Castellano go to a strong right-handed whip here, and it looks like Bolt'd Oro might come down a little bit. It looks ever so slightly, initiating some contact here, with McKinzie. Looked like, to me, McKinzie kind of held his ground there, and Bolt'd Oro came in a little bit. So I watched it from a couple views. I didn't necessarily see McKinzie getting out. The stewards at that point felt that it was, inconclusive. They thought one angle made it look like it was one horse's fault. The other angle made it look, I think the angle that they're talking about, was a reverse angle that made it look like it might have been McKinzie's fault. So they called that incidental contact. Now, we'll go to the head-on to watch, the final 70 yards. And in the final 70 yards, McKinzie does come out into the path of Bolt'd Oro. And that, for the stewards, was the decisive, incident. So let's go to that. Okay, the picture here is going to be a little grainy. First of all, they had some weather at Santa Anita. It was kind of some gloomy weather. They had some rain and some fog, and this is about as bad a picture as you're ever going to see for the head-on. But we'll watch. This is right here is Bolt'd Oro. You're going to see McKinzie come out and move him off his path. It's he gets, I'd say, about a path and a half to 2 paths out, kind of gets herded out. The margin was just ahead. In the opinion of the stewards, that there was enough to, basically cost Bolt'd Oro at least a head, which, I would tend to agree with that. But the problem I have is right there, it looked to me like Bolt'd Oro initiated contact, very close. I want to focus on the way both of these horses run extremely good races. So, I hate to get into, I want to critique the horses, not the stewards. In my opinion, I wouldn't have made a change here. I understand what the stewards are saying, that, they felt that they couldn't determine, that this was inconclusive contact, whereas the contact down by the wire, in their opinion, was decisive. I didn't quite see it that way, but like I said, I don't want to focus on, I want to focus on the horses here, not the stewards. And in my opinion, both of these horses run extremely good races. You know, they were both close to a hot and contested pace. They put 6.5 lengths on the third place finisher, you know, who's a last out grade 2 stakes winner. And, you know, it was a very, very good performance from both of them. Great race, good performances from the top two. Look forward to see if Bolt'd Oro in his second start off the layoff, you know, can make a forward move off of this. This is a tough race for him coming back. Okay, before we move along to watching the Gotham and the Tampa Bay Derby, an interesting thing I want to bring to note here is that both the winner of the Gotham, Enticed, and the winner of the Tampa Bay Derby, Quip, both came out of the Kentucky Jockey Club, a grade 2 stake at Churchill Downs on November 25th. The interesting thing about that race is that there was a horse that lost his rider, causing all kinds of trouble for horses on the front end. In fact, that horse come back and won a $100,000 stake race at Laurel next time and was third to Strike Power and the Swale. But just take note of some of these horses that run the Kentucky Jockey Club, especially the ones that were close to the pace. Enticed is one here. He didn't run too well in the Holy Bull in his 3-year-old comeback, but he stepped forward and won the Gotham yesterday. Promises fulfilled. He was a horse that got out real bad. Looks like he might have had, you know, little minor equipment issues for a while there, but he come back and win the Fountain of Youth at 18-1 after first race after the Kentucky Jockey Club. Reride, another horse that was on the pace in the Kentucky Jockey Club. He come back and win a stake at Delta, and then won the $100,000 Mind That Bird. Got a good number. That would be a buyer figure of 91. And note that there was over 15 lengths between second and third that day. It was a 9-horse field. Yes, he only won it by 2.5 lengths, but it was 17 3/4 lengths back to the third horse. So an extremely fast race from Reride. Quip, who we'll talk more about later, he hadn't run since, you know, he steadied up near that quick pace in the Kentucky Jockey Club. He runs Tampa Bay Derby 19-1, wins it. First off the bench, first since that Kentucky Jockey Club. And how about Bravazzo? Bravazzo, you know, didn't appear to do much running at all in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Comes back, wins at Oaklawn, gets a good figure, and wins the Grade 2 Risen Stars Stakes at 21-1 odds. So that Kentucky Jockey Club is, you know, proven to be a very productive race. I only have these 5 horses on here because I can only fit the past performances of 5 horses on my screen. But interestingly, the horse who lost his rider, causing a lot of that trouble in the early stage of the race, he also come back and win a stake race. So that's at least 6 horses from that race that have, you know, come back and win a stake race. So the Kentucky Jockey Club certainly proving to be, you know, a very, very productive race. With that said, let's go watch the Gotham Stakes. Let's watch Enticed get the job done for Karen McLaughlin. Okay, here we are about to watch the Gotham. Your eventual winner is going to be the number 9 horse, Enticed. He's going to be wearing those all blue silks of Godolphin Racing. The 7 horse here runs a brave race on the front end at 35-1 odds. A Jeremy Rose horse. Horse almost looked like he was going to steal it for a while. Free Drop Billy is the 6. His silks are very similar to the Godolphin horses. He's got a blue silks, but they're going to have like a white star on the back. And then the 5 is Frenzy Fire. He won the Champagne from way off the pace. He beat Good Magic, the eventual 2-year-old champion and Breeders' Cup winner in the Champagne. And I believe Enticed was third that day. In fact, he was third. So the 5 is Frenzy Fire. The 6, Free Drop Billy. The 7 is the speed horse who almost steals the race at 35-1. And the 9's Enticed. Those are the 4 horses to pay attention to. With that said, I'll run it for you.
They're in the gate. And they're off in the Gotham. Free Drop Billy began well, but is now taken back. 9 Root, Old Time Revival, flashing sharp early speed. And here comes Cove Blue along the inside to be part of the speed brigade. Enticed is 4th through the opening furlong, about 3 lengths off the early tempo. Dial Operator moves through along the inside now and is about 2.5 lengths off the leader. Beautiful Shot is racing in between rivals. Then Firenze Fire racing side by side with Free Drop Billy. And a long way back to the trailer where she told me to go. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter. It's Old Time Revival on the outside and Cove Blue at the rail. 3 lengths back to 9 Root in the yellow colors 3rd. Enticed getting a good trip. Extreme outside. Free Drop Billy on the outside of Firenze Fire. At the rail, it's Dial Operator, and Beautiful Shot is shuffled back about 7 lengths off the lead. Still a big gap to where she told me to go. 46 and 2, a very lively fraction here. Enticed making a bold bid after Old Time Revival, who shows the way to the quarter pole. It's Old Time Revival in front by 2 lengths. Enticed, Free Drop Billy moves up on the outside, and then Firenze Fire as the field turns for home. Old Time Revival trying to pull off the upset. Enticed is chasing with determination. Free Drop Billy on the outside, and then Firenze Fire. They're in the final furlong. Enticed lengthening his stride, trying to get to this long shot Old Time Revival, and he collars him at the 16th pole. It will be Enticed, sharp in victory and wrapped up by Junior Alvarado as they stroll home in the Gotham. Old Time Revival 2nd, Free Drop Billy 3rd, Firenze Fire was 4th.
I thought that was a very fairly run rendition of the Gotham. I mean, there wasn't too much to take away from trip-wise. I mean, there was a quick pace up front. Everyone kind of got the trip. They had a clean, reasonable trip. There were no excuses. Just turned out Enticed was much the best. The long shot went 40. The long shot that was 2nd went over a full second faster for his opening half than the older horses did in a $150,000 stake for older males at the same distance a few races earlier on the card. And he set a strong pace. He held on to run a good second. To me, the disappointment of the race was Free Drop Billy. Free Drop Billy's just kind of got coming into this race, you see six races, 2 wins, 3 seconds. He run okay in the Holy Bull, but he kind of hung bad. I mean, it looked like he made this big decisive move to Audible. Both him and Audible were going very well, and Audible just brushed him off with kind of alarming ease in the in the stretch run of the Holy Bull and just pulled away from him decisively. So Free Drop Billy, they scratched him from a spot. They cut him back to a mile. I thought it was a discouraging 3rd. This was a horse that, was bet to 7-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and had some hype, but Enticed didn't necessarily fire in the Holy Bull. He was 4th that day, a long way behind Free Drop Billy, but he was 1st off a layoff. The tables were turned here. Enticed, just had too much for these horses. So Free Drop Billy kind of, I would say, was the disappointment of the race. Enticed didn't do anything spectacular. He wore down a 35-1 Speedball who set an excellent pace, ran a sharp race for Jeremy Rose, but I don't think the Gotham is going to have much significance in any of the 3 Triple Crown races this year. That's just my opinion. I didn't think it was, Enticed is a nice little horse, but I don't particularly think he's Triple Crown timber at this point, at least as far as a contender for the 3 Triple Crown races. So with that said, we'll move along to the Tampa Derby. All right, moving along to the Tampa Bay Derby. In this race, the 8-5 favorite was World of Trouble, a horse coming off a flashy 13 3/4 length victory in the Pasco Stakes for Jason Service. Irod Ortiz actually picked up the mount on World of Trouble for the Tampa Bay Derby, but This was a horse we actually did a video on, after his Posco, and where I talked about him, just showed the replay of the Posco and gave my general overview. In my thoughts at the time, I really questioned his ability to get 2 turns. I'll run it for you here real quick so you can hear it. But what I can tell you is that he's by Cantharos, who is just a pure sprinter. He's out of a Valid Expectations mare. So you got a pedigree that's sprinter on sprinter. He's never gone 2 turns. His talent might carry him, a mile and a 16th. Might win him a grade 2, grade 3 at that level, but I'd have serious doubts about him getting a classic distance just, based on pedigree alone. I mean, that is sprinter on sprinter pedigree. The one time he did take pressure, he run a game race, a very gutty race, a green race, bounced off the rail, still got an 88 buyer. Very talented horse. Is he a Kentucky Derby horse? I really don't believe so. I think he'll get exposed as, the distances progress. But this is an extremely nice sprinter. World of Trouble with a magical Jason Service. Okay, so that was our opinion of World of Trouble coming out of his last race. Now we'll watch him in the Tampa Derby. Rod Ortiz was able to control a soft front end with him, as you'll see. They went very slow fractions, 49 and change. With that said, let's go to the replay. Okay, your eventual winner in the Tampa Bay Derby is going to be the 10 Quip for Florent Giroux. He's got red silks with the purple cap. He hadn't run since that Kentucky Jockey Club. So this is his first start as a 3-year-old, one of many horses to come out of this Kentucky Jockey Club to win a stake race subsequently. The 8 is World of Trouble. He's got the Michael Dubb silks, his yellow silks, pink cap. Flame Away finishes second. World of Trouble finishes third. Flame Away, the 5, comes on strong. He's got lime green silks with a darker green cap. And Vino Rossi, the Pletcher horse, who's got like a dark green silks, is going to finish 4th. So 10, 5, 8, 3 is going to be the order of finish. The pace is going to be slow in this race. Closers were at a disadvantage. Horses close to the pace were at an advantage. With that said, we'll go to Grunder and I'll run it.
He steps in. They're at the post. And they're off and running. In the Tampa Bay Derby, World of Trouble breaks inwardly, now straightened up and gunning right for the early lead. Quip comes away second. Flame Away up on the outside is third, and the last horse away is the long shot, a Rossi-like move. Around the clubhouse turn they go, as expected. World of Trouble drops over to the rail and now has the lead by a length. Up on the outside, Quip is right there in second. Then it's a length and a half farther back. Vino Rosso settles into stride down along the inner rail. 2.5 lengths farther back. Untamed Domain on the outside. Toward the rail, the late running Tis Mischief. A Rossi-like move is there from between horses and the trader. Grandpa Knows Best as they settle for their journey up the backstretch. World of Trouble, the Pasco winner, has the lead. Quip alongside now second. 2 lengths farther back. From the outside, Flame Away is there third, and the Sam Davis winner is on the move. Vino Rosso is down along the inner rail fourth. Untamed Domain, making his dirt debut, is ranging up on the outside as they leave the half-mile marker. World of Trouble and Ortiz still the leader, but there's Quip on the outside. He's moving up to challenge second. Flame Away is underway third. Vino Rosso, he's under an all-out ride at this point, not responding with a quarter of a mile to run. World of Trouble is trying to take him start to finish. Quip on the outside second. Up on the far outside, Flame Away swings wide for the drive as they straighten away for home. World of Trouble and Quip on the outside. They're locked in battle. Flame Away racing erratically down to the wire. World of Trouble along the rail and Quip on the outside. They're still heads apart. Quip is now going the better of the two, and Flame Away flying on late. Getting up for second. World of Trouble a tiring third in a game effort. Running time on the board.